Hi, hello children, how are you all? Welcome back to my class. Today in this class we are going to continue our same lesson of science, that is wind, storms and cyclones. So in the previous class we have learnt about the wind, air and the properties of air, right? So today we are going to study about what is thunderstorms, cyclone, how thunderstorm becomes cyclone, destruction caused by cyclone, effective safety measures, action on the part of the people in the event of cyclone, advanced technology has helped, then tornadoes. Okay, so let's start from the first point. The first thing is the monsoon winds carry water and it rains, right? We already know that the monsoon winds, they carry the water vapors along with them and it rains. So these clouds bring rain and gives us happiness, right? But however, it is not always a happy ending. Rain often creates a problems. So in nature itself there are certain situations that can sometimes create disasters and pose threat to human, animals and plant life. So now let's study about such two situations. The first one is a thunderstorms and the second one is a cyclones. The thunderstorms and the storms both are the one and the same thing. Okay, so thunderstorms, an event in the environment in which strong winds blow accompanied by heavy rainfall, thunder, lightning are called thunderstorms. So what are thunderstorms? An event in the environment, a strong winds blow with a heavy rainfall, with thunder, lightning are called thunderstorms. Understood? So an event in the environment in which strong winds blow accompanied by heavy rainfall, thunder, lightning are called thunderstorms. Understood, children? Thunderstorms. Thunderstorms develop in hot, humid tropical areas like India very frequently. So these thunderstorms, they develop in a hot, humid tropical areas like India very frequently. Frequently in the sense very commonly occurs in a short interval of time. So these thunderstorms, they develop in a hot, humid tropical areas. Okay, so the next point is the rising temperatures produce strong upwards rising wind. So these areas generally have higher temperature which causes the wind. So which areas? These tropical areas. So these regions generally have higher temperature which causes winds. Okay, so these hot winds move upwards. So they move upwards, also have water vapors within them which freezes in the sense they will form a clouds and falls on the earth as a rain, right? So the third point is the swift movement of the falling water droplets along with the rising air creates lightning and sound. So the rainfall and rising air creates lightning in the air accompanied by sound, and as a result a thunderstorms occur. So the swift movement of the falling water droplets with the rising air. Okay, so the movement of the falling water droplets along with the rising air, it creates the lightning and it accompanied by the sound and the lightning. Okay, so the next point is, so that we called a thunderstorm. So this event is called a thunderstorm. Understood, children? Okay, now let's move to the next concept. If a storm is accompanied by lightning, we must take the following precautions. So if a storm and the thunderstorm, the both are the one and the same. Okay, so if a thunderstorm is accompanied by lightning, we must take the following precautions. So in the time of thunderstorms, what are the things we have to keep in our mind? Okay, so what are the precautions we can take? The first one is, do not take shelter under an isolated tree. So avoid taking the shelter under an isolated means alone, a single tree. Okay, the second point is, if you are in a forest, take shelter under a small tree. Suppose if you are in a forest, so try to take a shelter under a small tree rather than a big large tree. Okay, so the third point is do not lie on the ground. So in the time of thunderstorm, avoid lying on the ground. The next point is do not take shelter under an umbrella with a metallic can. So try to avoid taking the shelter under an umbrella with a metallic end, which is having a metallic end like this, right? So avoid taking the shelter under an umbrella with a metallic end. So most of us are having an umbrella like this, right? So avoid taking the shelter under the umbrella with an metallic end. So next point is do not sit near a window. So try to be inside your house. Okay, so avoid sitting near the window. The next point is open garages, storage sheds, metal sheds are not safe place to take shelter. So in the time of storms, the open garages, the storage sheds and the metal shed, these all are not a safe place to take a shelter. Okay, so a car or a bus is a safe place to take a shelter. So you can take a shelter in a car or in a bus. Okay, the next point is if you are in a water, get out and go inside a building. Suppose if you are in a swimming pool in the time of thunderstorm, so get out as soon as possible from the water and go inside a building. These all are the precautions you can take at the time of storms. Understood, children? Okay, now let's move to the next topic. How a thunderstorm becomes a cyclone. First point is before cloud formation, water takes up heat from the atmosphere to change into vapor. So clouds are formed due to water vapors in air, as you know it, right? So as the water turns into vapor, it takes up the heat. It takes up the heat from the atmosphere. Okay, so the next point is when water vapors changes back to liquid, form as a raindrop, this heat is released to the atmosphere. The heat released atmosphere warms the air around. Okay, so when the water vapor turns into clouds and falls back as a raindrop, so it will release the heat to the atmosphere. So it will release the heat to the atmosphere. So that released heat in the atmosphere that warms the air around. Okay, that warms the air around and they start rising up. Okay, and it again start rising up. So the third point is the air tends to rise and cause drop in pressure. So see here, in the second point, what we said, when the water vapors turns into clouds and falls back as a raindrop, so it releases a heat in the atmosphere, right? So that heat that warms the air around it, again it will start rising up. So that leads to the decrease the air pressure in that region. Yes, so that leads the decreasing the air pressure in this region. Okay, so more air rushes to the center of the storm. The cycle is repeated. So this lead to the decrease their air pressure here in this region. Okay, so because all the released heat in the atmosphere that warms the air around it, and that will rise up. So here air tends to rise and cause a drop of pressure here that in the region. So the air from the surrounding takes the place of the warm air. So as we know that the air moves from the high pressure to the low pressure. That's why the air from the surrounding, when the warm air goes up, the whatever the air is there here in the surrounding, it try to take the place of this empty place, right? So the cycle this will continue. Okay, it is a continuous cycle until the rain falls. So the next point is the chain of events end with the formation of a very low pressure system with very high speed winds revolving around it. It is this weather condition that we call a cyclone. So As a result, a very low pressure region is created. Here I told you, right? And strong winds start revolving in that low pressure region. So here the high wind, they start revolving here around this low. This is a low pressure region. Okay, so the high winds, they start blowing around this low pressure region. So this is the condition of a cyclone. So this is what we call the cyclone. Understood, children? And this cyclone develops over a sea or a ocean region. The next one is structure of a cyclone. So here a cyclone is a rotation of air in the atmosphere at a height of around 10 to 15 kilometer. So the cyclone is a rotation air. Here you can see this is a rotation air in the atmosphere at a height of around 10 to 15 kilometer. The height of this cyclone is around 10 to 15 kilometer. Okay, and the center of a cyclone is called the eye of the storm. Here you can see. Can you see this? Yes, this is called the eye of a storm. Here I will show you. Yes, can you see this one, children? Here, this is called the eye of a cyclone. This portion is called the eye of a cyclone. It is a very calm and clear area. Okay. So the next point is the eye of the storm is very clear and calm area. This area is a very calm and this area is very clear, very silent, where there are no clouds but only with light winds here. Okay, so the diameter, next point is the diameter of a eye is ranges from 10 to 30 kilometer. Here you can see this here, children? 10 to 30 kilometer. Yes, so the diameter, because it is in a circle form, so the diameter of this eye is from 10 to 30 kilometer. Okay, next the cloud regions, whatever the clouds are there, the cloud regions lie around this eye and has a diameter of around 150 kilometer. Okay, they are having diameter around 150 kilometer. The whatever the clouds are there, okay, whatever the clouds are there lying around this eye, that is the diameter of those clouds are 150 kilometer. Okay, the next point is the cloud regions has high speed winds blowing at 150 to 250 kilometer per hour with heavy rainfall. The cloud regions has high speed winds. So these cloud regions, here are the clouds, right? So these cloud regions, they are having a high speed winds, that is from 150 to, that is about 150 to 250 kilometer per hour, to 150 to 250 kilometer per hour. Okay, so the cloud regions has high speed with winds blowing at 150 to 250 kilometer per hour with a heavy rainfall. Here you will find the heavy rain. These are the clouds. Okay, so here you will find the heavy rainfall. Okay, so the next point is, understood, children? This is the structure of a cyclone. So what is the structure of a cyclone? Let us repeat once again. So cyclone is a rotation of air in the atmosphere at a height of around 10 to 15 kilometer. The center of a cyclone is called eye of a storm. Okay, the eye of the storm is a clean, calm area where there are no clouds but only a light winds. Okay, the next point is the diameter of the eye is ranges from 10 to 30 kilometer. The cloud regions lie around this eye. Okay, the cloud regions lie around this eye and has a diameter of around 150 kilometer. Okay, the cloud regions has high speed winds blowing at 150 to 250 kilometer per hour with a heavy rainfall. Okay, Understood, children? This is all about the structure of a cyclone. The first indication of a cyclone can be observed when strong wind starts flowing and pushing away the water from the shores. Shores in the sense the edges part of the sea. Suppose this is a sea, so this one you call it as a beach. Okay, so this the edges of the sea, it is called a shore. Okay, so the first indication of a cyclone, as I told you, the cyclone it develops over a sea or a ocean region, right? So the first indication of a cyclone can be observed when strong winds start flowing and pushing away the water from the sea shore. Okay, understood, children? This is all about the cyclone, structure of cyclone. Now the next topic is destruction caused by cyclones. Destruction is nothing but the damage. Okay, so the first point is cyclones can be very destructive. As I told you, the cyclones, they are very destructive. They damage many things. The strong winds push water towards the shore even if the storm is hundreds of kilometers away. So the strong winds from the cyclone, they push the water towards the shore. Shore means the edges of the ocean or the sea. So those strong winds, they push the water towards the shore even though if the storms are hundreds of kilometers away from the land. Okay, so the next point is the water waves produced by the wind are so powerful. The waves which is produced by this water, it is very powerful. Okay, the water waves produced by the wind are so powerful. The next point is the low pressure in the air lifts water surface in the center. The rising water may be as high as 3 to 12 meters. So the cyclone can be result in extremely high waves in the sea or a ocean because of the low pressure. These waves can be 3 to 12 meters high. The waves may be 3 to 12 meters high. Okay, so the next point is as a result the sea water enters the low lying coastal areas, causing severe loss of life and property. So as a result, when these high waves hit the shore and the sea water that enters the low lying coastal areas means the area near the sea. Okay, the area near the sea is called coastal area. So it results in the destruction of life and property to the great extent, right? Okay, here you can see. Yes, children. Okay, let's move to the next point. It also reduces the fertility of the soil. The soil of the area also loses its fertility after a cyclone. You can't sow anything in this soil because it loses its fertility. The next point is continuous heavy rainfall may further worsen the flood situation. Heavy rainfall, it may lead to the flood situation. Here you can see the heavy rainfall, it may lead to the flood situation. The next point is high speed winds accompanying a cyclone can damage houses, telephones and other communication systems, trees, etc., causing tremendous loss of life and property. So the high speed winds in the cyclone that affects the telephone communication and communication lines, and they uproot the trees. The trees may fall down and damages the house and cause a loss of life also, along with the many property. Understood, children? This is about the destruction caused by cyclone. A cyclone is known by different names in different part of the world, and here can you see this hurricane? It is called by a hurricane in the American continent. Okay, the hurricane name, it is a name of a cyclone only, but it is having a different name in the American continent. And in Japan and the Philippines, okay, in the Japan and Philippines, they call it as a typhoon. Okay, next topic is effective safety measures. So what are the effective safety measures? Okay, so the first one is a cyclone forecast, the warning service. Here, see, effective safety measures. So what are the safety measures we have to take? Okay, so first one is a cyclone forecast and warning services. They should be a cyclone forecasting. You know what is the meaning of forecasting? Forecasting in the sense to estimate how the things will be in the future. So they should be a cyclone forecasting service that can warn the people of a particular area that can be hit by a cyclone. Okay, the next point is rapid communication of warnings. The warning should be communicated rapidly to the citizen ships that are sailing in the sea, government agencies and the fishermen also. The next point is construction of a cyclone shelters in the cyclone prone areas. So along with the cyclone shelters should be built in the coastal areas. Okay. So the next point is administrative arrangements for moving people fast to the safer places. So there should be arrangement done. The arrangement should be done to move the people to safer places. Understood, children? Our next topic is action on the part of the people. So at the time of cyclone, what action and what things we need to do? The first thing is we should not ignore the warning issued by the meteorological department. So we should not avoid the warnings which is given by the meteorological department. You know what is the meaning of meteorological department? It is a government department that makes the weather prediction. So don't avoid the warning issued by the meteorological department through the TV or through the radio or through the newspaper. Okay, the next point is we should make necessary arrangements to shift the essential things. So at the time of cyclone we should make necessary arrangements to shift the essential household goods, domestic animals and vehicles etc. to the safer places. The next point is avoid driving on roads through standing water as floods may have damaged the road. So one should avoid driving on roads which have standing water because it may be damaged because of the flood, right? So the next point is keep ready the phone numbers of all emergency services like police, fire brigade and medical centers. So at the time of cyclone you should keep ready. One should have your phone numbers. Okay, one should have phone numbers, emergency services like police, fire brigade and medical centers. Understood, children? Okay. The next topic is precautions to be taken if you are staying in a cyclone hit area. So what are the precautions you have to take if you are staying in a cyclone hit area? The first thing is do not drink water that could be contaminated. So don't drink the water because it may be contaminated. Contaminated means it may be polluted. So always store drinking water for emergencies. The next point is do not touch with switches and fallen power lines. So stay away from the touching of wet switches and fallen power lines. The next point is do not go out just for the sake of fun. So you should stay at home. Don't go outside just for the sake of fun. Okay, so the next point is do not pressurize the rescue force by making undue demands. So one should not pressurize the force team by making their unnecessary demands at the time of cyclone. Okay, next you have to cooperate with that situation. The next point is cooperate and help your neighbors and friends. So in this situation you need to help each other. Understood, children? Okay, let's move to the next point. Advanced technology has developed. So these days we are better protected because we are having a advanced technology, right? So the first point is satellites and radar cyclone alert. The satellites and radar cyclone alert or cyclone watch is issued 48 hours in advance of any expected storm. So the satellites and radars have made it possible to predict cyclones, so that before only we can take precautions because of the satellites and the radars, right? So generally the cyclone alert or the cyclone watch alert is issued every 48 hours. Okay, it should be issued every 48 hours in advance if a storm is expected in that area. Okay, the next point is cyclone warning is issued 24 hours in advance. So the cyclone warning is issued before 24 hours. Okay, the next point is several national and international organizations cooperate to monitor the cyclone related disasters. So the several national as well as the international organization, they cooperate to monitor the cyclone related disasters. And one more thing, this warning, the cyclone warning here, the cyclone warning, it broadcasted in the area after interval of half an hour or 1 hour. Okay, so the next point is here, the instrument that measure the wind speed is called an anemometer. The instrument that is used to measure the wind speed, it is called the anemometer. Children, you have to remember this. Okay, it may ask in your exam that name the instrument that is used to measure the wind speed. So the instrument that measures the wind speed is anemometer. This is how it looks like. Okay, this is called anemometer. Understood, children? Okay, now let's move to the next topic, that is tornadoes. So a tornado is a dark funnel shaped cloud that reaches from the sky to the ground. So this is called the tornado. Here you can see this is a picture of a tornado. It's look like a funnel. So it looks like a funnel. Okay, broad here and here it is a narrow. Okay, it's look like a funnel, and a tornado is a dark funnel shaped cloud that reaches from the sky to the ground. Okay, next, most of the tornadoes are weak, but some tornadoes, they can travel at speed about 300 kilometer per hour. Okay, some tornadoes that can travel speeds about 300 kilometer per hour. The next point is the funnel of a tornado sucks dust, debris and everything near it at the base and throws them out near the top. So here the funnel shape, here you can see this is a funnel shape. The funnel shape, the structure, this sucks the dust, whatever the dust it is there here, it sucks the dust, debris and everything whichever comes near to it. It takes all the things, it at its base and it throws them out near the top. Okay, so the funnel of a tornado, it sucks the dust, debris and everything that comes in its way and it throw them out near the top here. Okay, this is about the tornado. The next point is protecting yourself from a tornado. So in the time of tornado, how you can protect yourself? Okay, the first thing is to protect oneself in a tornado. One should take shelter in an underground rooms with no windows. To protect yourself from the tornado, you can take a shelter in an underground rooms with no windows. Okay, so the next point is it is better to shut windows and take shelter under table, workbench, etc. So in the time of tornado, it is better to close all the windows and you can take a shelter under a table or the workbench. Next thing is one has to bow down on knees, protecting head and neck using the arm. You can sit yourself in this structure. Okay, you can sit like this. One has to bow down, you can bow down on a knees and protecting your head by using your arms. Okay, this is how you can protect yourself from the tornado. Understood, children? So today in this class you have learned about the what are thunderstorms, and how cyclones are formed, and the structure of a cyclone, and the destruction caused by the cyclone, and what are the safety measures you can adopt at the time of cyclone, right? And how you can survive in the cyclone hit area, and what are the advanced technologies that can be helped at the time of cyclone, and what are tornadoes, and how you can save yourself from the tornadoes, right? This is all you have learned today. Hope you understood all this whole lesson very well, children. Okay.